probably using a ton of different systems and your client just does not like them. I use Slack as a mini client portal and a project management system, and I want to show you exactly how I do that. So, if you are interested in this by any chance, stay in this video and we'll talk about how to set up your Slack as a client portal slash mini project management system. If you are anything like me, I have clients that do not like portals, and that's because they're already on the go. So I've already converted my Slack into being a mini portal and a project management system, and I want to show you how in a couple easy steps. First and foremost, I'm a girly that just hates seeing the same colors all day every day. So I use this change up feature to just change my colors to make me feel a little bit more spicy every day. I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go ahead and save it and we're going to jump into it. First and foremost, I'm actually using a paid version of Slack, but I don't know if you can use it on a free version. Please know that this is very much so a self-created space and I'm going to show you how to do it. So first, I actually have a couple sections to the left here, and what I've done is section them out based on the type of clientele or where they are in a certain stage. So if they're a new client, they'll go into onboarding. If they're in the initial setup space where we're doing transactional things of making sure we get the items that we need from them, they go here. If they are a one-time build out, they go into this section. If they're final updates from that one-time build out, they're going here. And any ongoing clients, I do put them here. If they're idle, they get their own section so that I don't always have to go into that channel. And then I also have external connections because I can connect with other paid Stripe members. I keep saying Stripe, other Slack members in their own account. And so if I have DMs and other channels that I don't use, it's up here. Now y'all know all about the apps down at the bottom. So we're gonna go into a sample account and I'm gonna show you how I utilize this account. I have this automated, and the automation is so cool that I have to show you, and I'll show you in a space that it makes the most sense of telling you how it all comes together. When a new lead comes into my process, they essentially go through a system called Moxie. And so in Moxie, when someone signs, they go ahead and it finds a client for me inside of that Moxie account to grab all their information. I use this ClickUp as well to do my task management externally outside of Slack. And then I have a utilities formatter that gets a little bit more information. And then in ClickUp, it marks them booked. MailerLite adds them to a subscriber group. Slack actually sends a new alert in a channel to say, hey, you've gotten a new client. I also send them a welcome message. And as they go through the path here, what happens is it just simply updates based on these four types of services. So typically they'll go through this process of in Airtable, which I track data and insights. They go through the process of being updated. There is a client, I add them to a project tracker, and then I create a list for them inside of ClickUp. I create a channel for them inside of ClickUp and inside of Slack. And then I also send a welcome message. I send a review message that I essentially have this to be 30 days out. So this is like, hey, thank you so much for being with me for 30 days. Would you like to do a review? Which is pretty cool. And then I invite my executive assistant in the channel. And then I create a master hub list, and I'll show you what that is in a second. And then I create some Google Drive folders. These are shared Google Drive folders that we utilize while working together as operations, projects and admin, marketing. I share that with them, and then I share that with my team, and I share that with another email for my team. So all of that happens while I'm sleeping. I don't have to think about it. It just happens. So in this channel that we're utilizing, essentially the goal here is to make sure that it's easy for them to access everything and that they don't have to feel burdened with anything. So I have this welcome message to let them know that they have just been added, what this channel is, and all the fun things. And then I also do this very simple thing of giving them a workflow. And this workflow is the first thing they see that grabs their information about themselves. This is what I use as the initial starting point for everyone so that I can be able to simply just have everything all in one space. Okay. So, and then I have this next section where I add their birthdays. And as you can see, my exec was added here. And we have the two canvases that are here. These typically aren't here. These are just messages due to me updating the canvases on a regular occasion. And anytime I do make changes to their specific canvas, it does actually send a message to them in the channel. I have a sample timeline that I built out. This gets sent to any project person. And so the timeline is pretty much used for those individuals who need to have the ability to see anything that's going on in their project. So from the onboarding call down to when we're going to give them support, it just gives them here because again, this is on their phone, this is on their computer, and they can simply just come in here for all the details. And then we have something called the Royal Way. Now, a lot of people think that you have to give them like a welcome packet. This is my welcome packet. And I don't know why the header is not showing right now, but it's a cute header. So I want to make sure it shows. You can, there you go. So the welcome packet, it's the Royal Way. And what this is just a best practices kind of module. So it says to them, hey, this is our vision, our mission, our core message. And then it allows them to meet our team because I think it's important for them to know who's working on their items. So our team has a bit of their own bio and all the things. And then the good thing is that they can see all of my fun facts, which are just two right now, and then Kayla's fun facts and our best practices for our in office, our task submission, things of that nature. How we can best support them. I've always preferred doing voice notes and video messaging before doing a phone call. So it's in this order on purpose. So they click one of these just to learn about how to do those things. So it's just like, hey, this is how you record an audio clip. This is how you send a voice message. This is how you do those things. And then we have out of office days. So these out of office days are typically put on here in the order of the time. And essentially, we don't really remove them. We keep them here because editing this, unless the only reason why I edit this is if I need to take a day off. And so that would be added here. They would get notified as well as we remind them. Then we have this place called All the Things. It's pretty much a building out space. And so the biggest thing about this is going to be their core space for keeping up with onboarding items, ongoing projects, maybe even the day-to-day projects that they have, and also our meetings. So we typically did this before inside of a similar folder like this because we have a lot of meetings. And so instead of them having to click on this meeting, they would essentially be able to just see it inside of a folder list. But I put it now here because I think it's just going to be easier. I didn't do a fancy banner yet, but the baby that's coming. And so the other thing that we have are blueprints. So anytime that we meet a client, we tend to gather and stalk them a little bit because we have to get information that matters to them. And so I get all of their websites, all of their socials because I need to know like if I quickly want to click on a website for them, I want to know exactly where, where their branding is, or maybe I had questions about something they do, things like that. I do that. And then natively, any files that are added inside of messaging gets added here. So there's one big thing that I didn't show you guys yet. On our all the things, we have something called the Royal Hub. And so we use this inside of Airtable. Airtable is a place that they can actually submit all of their beautiful details. They can see all the amounts that they paid, and this is a sample, so they can see what they paid. They can actually see how much they paid for the year and how many hours they purchased. They can also see the used hours, remaining hours, and if we have overage based on that hours. They can use this form to actually purchase new hours. It is not a self-submission space. It's just a form that I get to actually charge on the back end. I had this automated at one time, but for some reason it just became messy. So I made it a little bit manual. And then this is their tool stack. They can share tools with us in a secure way. I used to use LastPass. I used to use 1Password. I've used a lot of them. This is created to be unique to them, so it's like a secure code. If they put random stuff in here, it does not recognize them. If they put their name in here, it then recognizes them based on a dedicated code that we provide them. And then they're able to share the name of the task. They can add the due dates. They can add more details, and they can add supporting documents. Once they submit this, it actually adds it to this list here, and it sends us a ClickUp notification. So it actually creates a task inside of ClickUp, and we can then filter it to who it should be delegated to. And the same, oh, sorry, these are tool stacks. And the same thing with the task management. So the task request does the same thing as you see down here. But these tools essentially are essentially the same thing where they can have a dedicated code. So they would put their dedicated code in. And again, with this, if there's no dedicated code, it will not pop up. Let me choose an actual person that has one. Who has one? I don't remember. Okay. So when you think of the task name, the date, all the things, now I'm thinking because that one should not have done that for shared passwords. So I'm about to see, because that's a submitted task one. So I'm guessing that she actually put the wrong one. But we gonna fix that off camera, baby. We gonna fix that off camera. But yeah, so that is what they get. Now, if they're a project based, I want to show you what they see as well, because it makes a difference when you have a project and you're just like, oh. I want to see all my things. They essentially don't get a lot of information, get the same tool stack and the same like password and task thing, but they just see their hours because I do transparently like them to see how long it's taken us so that when they do transition to hourly, they get to see the actual combined, oh, they took this long for, doing hourly versus this long for doing the project. So it gives them that overview. All right, so what I think this is useful for is just clients who need a space to communicate, but they don't want to go into a system like ClickUp or Monday or any task management system. Canvases inside of here do so many things. So you can actually see that right now Canvases has tables, they have dividers, they have bullets, they have different call outs, they have reminder dates. You can record videos, you can add workflows, you can do profiles, you can add channels, you can make layers. You can design it the way that you feel. And I love using this because once a person comes in here and they're like, oh, this is what I have to do versus this is what is available, or this is where you are in the process, it's an easy way to just manage all the things. And if you haven't actually thought about doing this before, it's no biggie. I just think that sometimes we overutilize different systems instead of maximizing systems that we do have. And so I think that this is a great system for you to use. And I hope that this was enjoyable.